Okay, so this is part 2 of the prep of your initial raw documents. By raw, I mean usually it's going to be PDF. Sometimes those documents will already be made into TIFF files for you, but PDF is pretty standard these days as the way you're going to receive it from the vendor or client or opposing counsel, unless they're actually the raw paper documents at that point. So I'd like to point out some important things, and first of all, this is a newer version of UnitizerBasic than what I used in that first tutorial. So I'm going to show you that we have some further tools. We have AlphaBates, which is a document stamper for TIFFs, and it does bait stamping and many other things. We have the PDF stamper, and that is a bait stamper for the PDF documents. We have that in the other version. We upgraded the PDF to TIFF to a PDF to image converter because we found that we wanted people to be able to use any kind of image they actually needed to use, even though TIFF is the standard. Still have simple renamer, and we have auto OCR, and we have an independent file mover, much the same as we have in the image converter, but in case you didn't want to go in there to move some files around, there it is. Okay, so basically what it is everything that I explained in the earlier video about taking the PDF. You might want, the easiest thing is to stamp the PDF. It's very fast. Bait stamp it in the number scheme that you want. You can always do it after using the AlphaBates tool, and you can go in and stamp all the TIFF documents instead. So you're not missing out, but I find that stamping the PDF file to begin with saves some confusion later because you have a mass of documents, but now they're all tagged with your desired numbering scheme. Okay, so I'm just going to walk through that process really quickly. I'll use a pretty small file and show it to you. Okay, so I've just downloaded something innocuous like I do often for illustration purposes. I found a copy of the Constitution in PDF format. Okay, so I'm going to take that and run it through the process. It's only 20 pages. What I usually do is I'll create a directory right here on my desktop, and I'll call it Constitution. Okay. So I know where it's going. Okay. Inside, I'll create another folder called OCR. It's kind of out of the picture here a little. Okay, so anyway, trust me, it's in there. Okay, so now I'm going to run it through its paces. I'm going to open my tools. I'm going to call up PDF Stamper. Okay, just kind of watch what I'm doing here. Desktop. Findy. There it is. Okay, no problem. Output is going to be my Constitution folder I made right there. Okay. And I'm going to call it, I guess I'll call it Constitution. That's good. Okay, and notice, I may have explained this elsewhere, but instead of having a broken out help file, I just put the instruction on each tab. It's like a quick cheat sheet. So maybe at some point I'll be able to do a help file dedicated to this program, but I think the videos are working better. So the font is going to be, I'm just going to keep it the same. It usually is the right thing. I'm not going to put a top text line, but you can. So if you want a two line where the top line is some sort of indicator like Constitution, right? Or sometimes you want 2 lines. You could actually put several lines, and whatever is written in this top line text box will stay the same. That does not change. So it's going to stamp it with that on the top, and it'll be an incrementing number underneath. Okay, so it says numbering. I'm going to put a C with a little dash. I like dashes. My padding, I'm going to make 6. Start with number 1. Pad number 0. I'm going to pick where I want that to go. Oh, probably here. That's good. You can use this area here with the start and last page if you just want to number a part of it and not all of it. I never use that, but it's there if you need it. Okay. I'll look at the image stamping. We're not doing any of that for this particular thing, and I'm just going to stamp that. Okay, stamping complete. See, that's very fast. Okay, so I like to leave my settings and not get rid of them just yet, because I want to look at my result and make sure I like it. So I have put it in this folder. Actually, it's probably not the right place, but let's take a look at it. Okay, let me get it where you can see the number. Move it up here. Yeah, that's a nice little number. Okay, so it's just very, very simple. Went through and bait stamped everything to begin with, so I don't have to even worry about that. And that particular number, I'm going to move that into the OCR right now. Okay. That particular number can be a tracking number, so you can actually redact that with the same tool here later if you want to and put something else there. But right now that's good. Okay, so that step is done. So basically then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it from the PDF into a TIFF. There's only one, so but what you would do if you had many, you would just first click this, then open the files, back to my desktop, Constitution folder. I stuck that in here for some reason. Okay, there it is. And where I want to put it is in the Constitution folder itself. So there we go. I guess I'm going to just call it the same as what the stamp page is. So I want the name of the file, and this is a really good practice, the name of the file to match the bait stamp. Okay, so I want 6 like I have. Beginning number 1, coming out as a TIFF, and as I've explained before, your TIFF resolution at 192, that's perfectamundo, and then we're going to convert. Now being that it's only 20 pages, it should go pretty quickly. Yep. Okay, we're going to look in here, and this is our file output. Okay, so we can ignore this. This is the Constitution broken down into its, I guess, 19 pages. Now, you can make this into, you can move this folder into the summation area, but you really don't want to do that yet, because number one, the program does not work over a network at this point. So the best thing to do is just leave this on your desktop. You can use that other file mover and move it later when we're done. Okay, so here we have it. We have basically our work folder, which is Constitution. You can see some of it here anyway in the window. Okay, so you can forget about this OCR thing for now because we're not there yet. You could create OCRs right if you had other things to do and you could let it run. I'm not going to do that right now, but just know that that could be done now as long as you put them as your output folder is the OCR folder, so they're out of the way. because you don't want to get some kind of error message there. You shouldn't, but I like to keep them separate until I'm ready to actually upload the file. Okay, so then this is where it all comes together. You can't forget this step, because say you take that folder, you name it something, and you move it over to the summation program in the images, and that's somewhere on your server. Well, that's not going to help you right now, because you have to have this file called a .dii. That's what this program's about. You have to have a .dii file that is correctly written, that tells summation all this information it needs to know. Like, for example, it needs to know this very much. Without that, it won't know anything. It won't even load. And I've explained that in the other walkthrough. Okay, so what you do after all that pre-prepping, and this is the thing I'm really trying to explain, then you go to your folder, okay, and you load those files in. Now you're looking at those files. It's possible that the entire Constitution will be the document without that PDF, right? That may be what you want to have as one unitized document. So you don't have to break it down into small pieces unless you want to. So for example, this record may only have one single entry in it, right there. Okay, that will be it. But your DII file is right here. Now you go, how do I get this out of there? Well, like you do anywhere else, you're going to go save your output file. And I'll just save that to the desktop. Or maybe I'll save it to the same folder. That's probably a good idea. I'll put everything in the OCR thing for now, so I don't have to go looking for it. Okay, so we're going to save that. Okay, so now that you have that file in there, this is it. This is the thing that tells summation everything it needs to know to create a record that points to the right image in the right folder in the right place. If you're using Unitizer Pro, you can actually even do some coding. There's a lot more you can do actually. So feel free to download the 14-day trial from unitizerpro.com. Check it out. So the point I want to make is that the DII file is the reason we have made this program, and the DII file points summation at the folder where the images are and the OCRs are. Without properly uploading this file into summation, you could get a failure to load or a file not found error if it even gets that far. So that's the important thing, to know that you loaded that file properly. Okay? And we will discuss loading those files in at a later date.